Hello. Happy Tuesday, y'all. I don't think that you know how wild and crazy things have been and how excited that I am to hang out with y'all tonight. I needed this so much. The very first Timeout Tuesday of 2025, which is super exciting. Last Tuesday was New Year's Eve, and we were focusing on keeping animals safe. The Tuesday before that was Christmas Eve, and we didn't get to hang out then. So it has been like 2.5 weeks since we've had a proper Timeout Tuesday, and I'm really excited that tonight is the night. I almost did car cake for Brienne's birthday. However, she was just getting back in the swing of her life, and with these cold temps, chores are taking a lot longer, so we will postpone car cake probably until next week. I have to ask them and see who's available and whatnot, but it felt appropriate to have the very first Timeout Tuesday of 2025 to be right here at home. So I'm excited to hang out with y'all tonight. I am having a cocktail, which I'm pretty excited about. It's also the first cocktail of 2025. This is my glass that you can't see right now that has a horse and a little girl on it. And tonight I'm having HEB orange juice, vitamin C to make me healthy again, and some cranberry vodka because why not have a little bit of sunshine looking in my life. All right, so first, pour a little cranberry in here. I'm going to put you down. Don't worry. You're going to get to see it. I just noticed that this orange juice expires on Xander's birthday. And as weird as it sounds, I'm like, oh, how nostalgic. The date is right here. Now, isn't that pretty? I forgot something to stir it with. Oh, well. Fruit salad for dinner, y'all. Cheers to Timeout Tuesday. A proper Timeout Tuesday. It's pretty good. It's pretty fabulous. I've only found one other orange juice that I can count on and madly love. It is just I like sour orange juice. So the HEB no pulp is wonderful, but back home, Prairie Farms orange juice is the best orange juice on the face of this earth. And I couldn't find anything here that was like it. Simply Orange is probably the closest to it. But now that I found the HEB, I'm like, yes, I like sour orange juice and no pulp. I'm not a pulp. I don't really like to chew my drink at all. So, it's okay. So cheers, y'all. Okay, so a few confessions. This cold weather has me in like a really, I guess, brave space because, this is a little embarrassing. I probably shouldn't even go here, but I'm going to do it anyway. I haven't put okay. There's more to this story. I didn't put a bra on for 3 days. 3 days I didn't. I did to be here with y'all. I did. I pulled my life together to be here with y'all, but I didn't for 3 days. And as embarrassed as I am to admit that, I have to tell you a little bit of why. All right. So I have 6 dogs here, right? And Christmas, none of them are chewers or destroyers or anything like that, except for Christmas and my bras. If a bra is anywhere that she can reach it, I mean hanging from a door handle, hanging from a hook on the wall, anywhere that she can reach it, she's going to destroy it. And I don't mean like shred it. She's going to like chew just enough for the straps to not be attached, okay? Now, I can sew, but my sewing machine is out in the shop in a tote and my thread's in a cloth, like everything's everywhere. And I'm just like, forget it. I'll just put on a new one. And I've gotten really good at like, when I go to like Beals, which is kind of like a TJ Maxx-ish thing, they come in like 3 packs cheap, right? I'm not into expensive things like that. And I just like, when I would go, would buy one and just roll with it. Well, she ate the last one. Okay. She ate the last one. And the only bra I have left is a legit strapless bra. It is an expensive one. I've had it for years. And I don't want her to like chew. There's no straps that she could chew. So now I'm afraid that she's going to chew like the last one and it's expensive. So I just like, well, I'll order some and I'll just go without. Well, it's cold enough that nobody's going to know I'm in like this, and like 22 layers to be able to go outside and do chores. Never thinking that anyone would see me, by the way. And Lester put me in one of his videos the other day and I look like a straight up homeless person walking around. But carry on. I haven't been wearing one at all. Like, I've just been like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Nobody's going to know. And I don't know why that I felt compelled to tell you all that, but it was like the most freeing thing that I didn't know, because I have worn a bra since I was 12. Like, I used to wear it to sleep in and everything. And now I'm like, nah, take it off. It'll be fine. But no, it's been 3 days and I don't want to wear one anymore. I am now. It's strapless and kind of pointless, but it is very freeing. Like, I didn't know this I didn't know that this was like such a like reward feeling, a freedom feeling until now. And now that I've been 3 days without it, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do that anymore. How do I put one on tonight to be able to come with you, like hang out with y'all. And like, I'm in public basically. Like, I feel like I should pull my life together, put a little makeup on and bounce back to reality, put a bra on. And I don't like it. So I gotta work some things out. But yeah, I didn't know for so long. I didn't know how wonderful that was. And yes, I would even sleep in one for most of my life. Really, probably the last couple of years is the first time that I've like truly taken it off. And somebody says, hang up a bra. What's that? No, I don't mean like in the closet. Like, we have like towel hooks in our bathroom that I'll like hang it up on, because I don't wash it every time I wear it. Do you wash? Okay, that's a legit question. Do you wash your bra after wearing it one time? Is that a thing? I've never done that. I've never had enough bras to do that. Like, I'm always like bare minimum on the amount of bras I have. Like, it's really about like survival. Like, usually there's like 2 that I'll rotate to until they literally fall apart. Now that Christmas eats them apart, I just like, no. Okay, thank God. Like, if I sweat in them in the summer, yes, I'm going to go ahead and wash it. But like, I don't typically, I would say like a couple of days. In the wintertime specifically, it's probably like a week that I actually wash it. Yeah. Okay, good. Glad most of you are on the same page as me. So we're on board with that. Okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Now that we've gotten like all this TMI out of the way, I feel like this is a proper Timeout Tuesday. And for any man that is watching this video, I am so sorry. You should know that Timeout Tuesdays are mostly girl talk. This is the stuff that I would say if all of these ladies were sitting across from me individually or in a group. This is like our place to be able to like get all of this off our chest, and yeah. Okay. So now that we got that all sorted out and that I'm not an insane person for the freeing effect, I'm glad that we've gotten past that. Timeout Tuesdays we no longer have to wear a bra on Timeout Tuesdays. I like this. I like this new rule. I'm totally on board with this. We will be free from the brassiers on Timeout Tuesday moving forward. On board. Completely on board. Okay. Okay. Literally off your chest, Jamie. Yeah, it is off my chest. I feel so much better. If I was really brave, I would reach under my shirt and take this off and we would just, never mind. We're not going to go there. Anyway, braless Timeout Tuesdays are now part of our lives and we're going to be fine. Except for maybe during car cake. I might still pull my life together for that. We'll see though. You wonder if Lester's watching. Probably not. I would say probably not. Free the Tatas Tuesday. I like it. We're not going to change the name of Timeout Tuesday, but maybe that'll be the new slogan of Tuesdays. We're just gonna let it all hang out. Not necessarily for all to see, but to feel like individual, like your own. Never mind. We're going places that we shouldn't go at all. There's been a lot that's been going on. I'm going to probably try to work backwards in my mind of things because there's so much. I have sad news. It's not totally sad. It's just unfortunate and I'm worried. So Ivy is not well. Her tumor on her leg is it's not good. I've had it covered now since 2 nights. Today I changed the bandage. I rewashed it. All of those things. She's not improving. She moans when she lays down. I can tell that she does not feel well. She does not feel well. I'm worried. And I say that with the most sincerity. I called Dr. Cochran tonight again, and I'm going to request a farm visit. I don't know what they have time for, catching up from the holidays, all of those things. But Ivy's a senior. Cold is very hard. Ivy has tumors on her leg. On her front left leg, the tumor is like baseball size. It's big. And I'm probably giving you way too much information that you don't want. Since I cleaned it the other night and covered it completely, it stays mostly open, kind of like something they call proud flesh. It's a sarcoid growth, and if they cut it off, it will just not heal, or it'll grow back much bigger. It's not good. So I'm going to request a farm call for her because there's no way she can ride in a trailer. She will not be able to balance herself in a trailer at all. We don't know if there's other tumors inside her body. We don't know if there's tumors inside her joints, if she has, you know what I mean? There's a lot to not fully understand about our sweet little girl here, but she's having a hard time. She will not put any weight on her leg whatsoever. She'll use it every once in a while as a balance, but it's not good. I am giving her pain medications. I'm literally bringing her water. I'm bringing her food. I'm making sure she has hay. I don't believe she's drinking enough water. She doesn't trust me when it comes to medications. In fact, yesterday I went to give her Banamine, which is a stronger medication than the original one that I gave her. The original medication I gave her was just an NSAID, which is like ibuprofen kind of for horses, or donkeys or ponies like Ivy. And I went to give her the stronger medication, which was a gel that had to go in her mouth. And I thought that she was just going to lay there and let me do it. And I was severely mistaken, to the extent that she threw me on the ground, which was impressive. But that to me was a sign of okay, she's not as bad as I thought she was, because she didn't just sit there and take it. But her demeanor is just she's not well. She hurts. She's in a lot of pain, and she's a tough old girl. And yesterday afternoon, she was laying behind the shed in the shade, and it was 32 degrees outside. It wasn't warm enough to be in the shade. I really expected her to be in the sunshine and embracing that heat, and I just think that she just couldn't. Now, some of the sweet things that are coming out of this, Prim has found her person to take care of. So when Ivy's laying down, Prim stands on guard no matter what time of day it is, and it's really special. Now Ivy will get up to eat, but she will not stay up for very long. And the hills are very hard when you're running on 3 legs, and I think the rest of her joints hurt as well. So I want to run blood work on her to see if it's worse than I think it is. Is it worse than just arthritis? Is it, does she have a systemic infection? today I checked for a fever. She doesn't have a fever, but that doesn't mean she isn't full of cancer or things like that. So she doesn't want to be away from the herd. So if the herd moves to the other side of the pasture, she will hobble and find her way there. And something else happened today that was just like the most sweet thing. So I'm out there putting horse blankets on all the horses. And Ivy, as you know, fully believes that she is one of them. Now, I haven't put a blanket on the donkeys because the first night they were soaking wet. And the second night, they wanted nothing to do with me. Like, I tried, and that was nothing. Now, Ivy in the past has gone bananas when I put a blanket on her. Like, almost, like, ran crazy. This was back in Plum Grove, and just, like, was, like, completely erratic and just insane, out of her mind. So I wasn't going to attempt to do anything like that to Ivy. I feel bad because it's cold. It's in the 20s at night here. It's freezing. Now, they have thicker fur than anybody, don't get me wrong, but they're still cold, and especially considering that she's older and more frail, I wanted, I've just been paying attention. So I tried to put her into the garage, and she does not want to be away from her herd. Like, that is not something she's interested in. So today, she's standing there as I'm putting all the blankets on, and she, like, keeps getting closer and closer to me. And I thought, like, if I put a blanket on her, she's laying down so much. If she gets caught in that could literally knock her over. She's not stable right now to be able to stand up. She wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm getting a picture up here to show you. What I did was I went and grabbed a regular blanket from the house. And I just draped it over her, thinking, like, she'll feel included. And it'll give her some warmth. And if it comes off of her, it just comes off. Do you know that this was at feed time at probably 4:30 by the time that happened? That right now outside, she is still wearing that right now. She has laid down and gotten up several times. She is so proud to have this blanket on. And it made me cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm worried about Ivy. And I want to do everything to keep her comfortable, to make her comfortable, to help her heal. But I'm not too naive to think that she's 38 years old. Now, donkeys can live to 60, but knowing what I know and how long that these tumors have been there and how they won't heal and how I've never seen her this down before has me very worried. So, more to come on what Dr. Cochran says tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a FaceTime visit, and I'm not sure when she'll be able to actually come out here. But I know that I cannot put Ivy in a trailer and drive her there because she won't be able to stand up, and I don't think that she will be comfortable enough to lay down. So we'll see. All of us. And so then the other thing that we have to follow back up on is Lenny. So I have not told you all the latest update on Lenny since his last x-ray. So if you remember, Lenny had his original injury, which we didn't 100% know what happened. We went out there and his injury was there. So we casted him, splinted him, and about 2 weeks later, he was in the infirmary with the alpacas and the ostrich, and I found him with his splint, like, removed. And we had to take him in to, I redid it here, and we took him in, and they redid it. Well, we did x-rays another 2 weeks after that. So 4 weeks past his injury, we did x-rays, and they looked awful. So his healing, he is healing, but his original fracture looked like it had slid. So somehow during probably that, whatever he did to get that splint off, he re-injured his injury. Now, it's been a couple more weeks since then, so he's also due for new x-rays and a new plan. And the only thing that I'll say about Lenny is that for a guy who is injured, he's up on top of every hay bale. He gets around, he eats, he drinks, he participates. He's out there ramming with Shirley every once in a while. I just think that, Dr. Cochran and I talked about this. His future is not, I don't need him to like do work. Goats don't really do work, but he goes out and grazes. He functions as a normal goat. Can he probably feel this weather and this pain? Yeah, I guarantee you he can. I know that Ringo is. I know that the older pigs are, like any animal that's had an injury. Tina, everybody feels this. I feel it. Like, I'll be really real with you right now. I knew that the weather was changing in my face from the metal that is in my face. Like, I told Lester the other day, I was like, I don't think that I can eat anything today because my face hurts so bad. And like, I could tell the weather was changing from that. So, and I know a lot of you can as well. So from a Lenny standpoint, he runs, he plays, he goes, he functions as a normal goat. And I'm not, Dr. Cochran goes, in a human, they would say that it's not going to heal right. You should go have surgery and you should put pins and everything in it. In a goat, you have to look at his quality of life and the risk of the surgery itself. And what would happen if he does have, what's the benefit of that surgery in the long run? Because no matter what, if you have surgery on anything, you're going to have arthritis, you're going to have scar tissue, all the things that he is already going to have. And he may, be able to function without a splint, or he may need a brace. Either way, he is living a goat's life still to this day. So it's not horrible news about Lenny. It just wasn't the greatest news about Lenny, but he is due for a re-splinting if he needs the splint still, and at the very least, x-rays and to determine a plan from there. So Lester and I don't believe that surgery is the right path for him. Surgery is very risky for goat. Anesthesia is very risky for goats anyway. So that is our intention with Lenny. And I'm sorry that I haven't told you. There's just so much that had come on in between all of those things that it just sort of like, I just never got around to it. So if I can get Dr. Cochran out here magically, like Friday would be so awesome. Then I would be able to hopefully get some answers for Ivy. And then, of course, some next steps for Lenny. Some fears also about Ivy. When she originally went in for the tumors on her leg, which has been like over a year ago, I believe, Dr. Cochran told me, she goes, she looks like a donkey that has Cushing's. Now, Cushing's is what Dixie had, which is not good as well, which would also be a really good reason why this is kicking her butt so hard as well. So we have more answers to be able to find out on our sweet Ivy, but we're just going to keep going, We have to. There's nothing else that we can do. So then next update, I guess I'm just going to stay on the update path here, is Sadie. There have been so many people who have sent pictures of found Great Pyrenees, and so far none of them have been Sadie. They're as far as Connecticut, and they're everywhere. And what I keep telling people is, if there's a dog, that they need to scan it. And I can't pack it up and drive to every single one and get there in person and look at those dogs in the eye and say, "Are you Sadie?" I need them to scan it. I feel like we've looked and looked and looked and looked some more. And we have a wonderful community surrounding us that's also looking. When Suki did this, man, I did not want this to be a sad Timeout Tuesday for the first one of the year. when this happened with Suki, it's not that you give up hope, because 3 years later, I still haven't given, I like still in my head, there's things that I, tell myself about Suki. There's a difference between like hope and reality, because like you want to hope and you want to do all those things, but like as a woman, your intuition and your gut tells you a lot of things. I don't think that was Sadie in the video that Lester saw. And the reason I don't think it was her is it was too close to home. And even if it was too close to home for her to not recognize home. Way too close. If it was her, it wouldn't have been her that close to home. Like in my like gut, I don't believe that was her. Also in my gut, I believe that she got spooked and someone found her and took her home. Wherever that home may be, I have to think in my heart that I want to think in my heart that she's getting love and attention and hamburgers and all the snacks in the world. And that's what I want to believe. Now, if she shows up somewhere and gets scanned and it's her, I will drop to my knees and bawl like a baby. But she's on like every website, and she's not turned up. So we found her after a massive storm. Someone called us and found her in their pasture, and I can only assume that is very similar to what's happening to them. She may have showed up at another pasture and found a new purpose and a new chapter in her life, and we just have to be okay with that. We have to find peace in our hope. So there's that. I'm gonna look. I made a list because I had so many things that I for sure wanted to be able to tell you about. I know it's very old school of me, and normally that's with Lester thing, but I'm like, I need to be able to tell you this. Okay. So now that I got like all of the sad stuff out of the way, let me tell you some great things that are going on. So for as weird as Voodoo was acting a week and a half ago, or I guess that's been 2 weeks ago. Now. He has been remarkably well during this time. He was spending like full days in the barn and not being out and about with anybody. And for the past 2 days, he's been like at the gate, first in line. He is just like, he's just been like super attentive is the best way to put it. And that to me is like, I'll take that. I will take that for him over and over and over. He needs some good reports because he's had a rough year as well. He's been super supportive of Ivy through all of her things. But he and Prim have been like pretty found often together. I'll just say that. And it's kind of funny because normally it's Hay and Bucky's, and lately Prim and Storm have been together. But the past couple of days, I have like the paint crew, Prim and Vu are they're both paint horses. And then I have like, the blondes over here. And it's just really neat to watch how like, I don't want to call it a cycle, but like seasons of their relationships and how that goes. And it's been really sweet. Everybody is very much accepting of the blanket situation. Like they know their routine and pattern. They know who goes first. Yesterday I tried to Storm was like standing there right next to her blanket. So it wasn't going to be that much, of a like they're heavy and that type of thing. So I reached up to put her blanket on, and nobody else had theirs on first, and Storm is usually last. And Storm was not having it. She looked at me like I was insane. Like, how dare you try to put a target on me to be able to put my blanket on first? She would not allow me to put her blanket on before anybody else's. She made me follow the pattern. It is always Voodoo, Bucky's, Prim, Storm, in that exact order. It never sways, and I was not allowed to deter from that. And then the takeoff order is backwards. It goes Storm, Prim, Bucky's, Voodoo every time. Why? I don't know. It's just how they like appear to eat and from the gate, and then I hang the stuff over the, over the fence for the day. We will be in blankets for the next 2 weeks, I believe. So it's really neat how they like learn their routine and know what to expect. And they even know down to when I'm going to, like, there's a elastic strap that goes from in front of their back leg, and you go like underneath their back leg. You can either crisscross it or go straight around their legs. They know when I reach to one side to do it that they'll like move and shuffle to be able to help me do the next one. It is crazy how smart that they are and how well that they know my exact steps. And there's so like little minute things that if you weren't doing it, you would never believe it or know that that's what they're trying to help you with, and that they're smart enough to know that. So it sounds silly. I really enjoy the blanket time with the horses. I enjoy that moment of being able to do it with them, because it is like, it's part of our routine on cold nights. Nobody's fighting with me. Nobody, like, they like it. They take pride. And now tonight's Ivy little moment of like, where's my blanket, was just like, I have a regular donkey blanket, and I will probably try that on her tomorrow, while I can be out there to see how she does with getting up and down. But I get really nervous about her current circumstance and being able to stand up. So those are all good things. Speaking of good things, so I grabbed a jar. I'm going to need a bigger jar. But something that Lester and I are going to start to do is every single week, we're going to write down our one good thing that happened that week and put them in this jar. Like I said, I'll probably need a bigger jar. And then at the end of the year, be able to pull out and go through our memories of what the best things about that week, our weeks were. And I wanted to recommend that you all do that as well, because I think that, the highlight reel of our lives sometimes can be super negative, and we only remember the bad things. Like if somebody asks me like, how was your 2024? It doesn't have a lot of positives in it, even though I know that there were positives in it. There are silver linings everywhere. So today's the 7th, which means that I owe my jar something good to put in it, and I will do that. And I just think it's like a really neat way to like memorialize it. Now, at the end of the year, I'm a scrapbooker and a journaler, and like I like to junk journal. Like I'm a crafty-ish kind of person. I will probably take our entire jar and put them into a booklet or something like that. But I just think like it's really hard to remember all, of the good things. And I encourage you to do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a jar if you don't want it to be a jar. It can be a baggie. It can be a basket that you put it in. But I think just trying to remind ourselves of the good has to be a way to help us spin our minds and spin our thoughts. Because like I said, if somebody asked me about 2024, I would be like, nope, not a lot good happened, but so many good things happened. I just forgot them all because they were overwhelmed by some rough things for sure. Okay, next up, the boot. If you watched my YouTube video, you know that there is a child's pink boot that has been here for years that keeps lingering and showing up in the most random places. And a lot of you are like, your dogs probably drug it over. Okay, even if they did initially, which I don't believe that they did, why is it still here? How does it out of shuffling land and having trees knocked over and so many floods and so many like crazy amounts of water rushing down, how did it end up there? Still here. It's the exact same boot. Same shoe. Like I went back and looked, is it the right or the left? It is in fact the left. And the only difference right now is there's no sole. Okay. So I was in the greenhouse today and I've been doing a little bit of cleaning, like trying to get ready for all that is to come of gardening 2025, right? So I have been a smidge of a hoarder of seed starter pots and the next level, like anything that I have bought, I've planted, but I have kept the pots for. Well, it got a little out of hand, I'll be honest with you. So I was cleaning all that out and I was stacking it outside, and there's a pile of like our burn pile is back there. I've burnt leaves, limbs, like other things. Like you're in the country, that's what you do here, okay? I don't even know how to give you the Scout's honor or to tell you anything but yay, or like to promise you on the Bible or anything else. The sole of that boot is behind my greenhouse. Just the sole. It's there. I found it today. Why? Why did it have to end up there behind my greenhouse of all the places? And why is it no longer attached to the boot? And how did it get there? Why? And now I don't want to touch it. I don't want to I just don't understand why all of the crazy things that have happened at this property, number one, have to happen to me. Because let's be honest here, they do. Number two, why the boot? Why a little girl's boot? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And then for all of this time to go by, okay? All of this time to go by since we cleared the land last, like 2023 summer, we cleared the land over there. I have walked over there. I have picked up logs over there. I have picked up sticks. I have done the ant treatment over there myself. We have planted seeds. I have chased Dinky Daryl in that. Like, I have spent time on that side of the property. Never once did I see that boot again since the beginning of time when Dixie was still here. Did I see that boot? Now, all of a sudden, it's like, hello, still here. The ghost is like, ha, ha, ha. And then to see that, and then a few days later now to see the soul directly behind my greenhouse randomly where I walk every day because I feed the cats back there. Like I walk that every single day. And now the soul is there. I don't like it. I feel like I need a shaman or something to come and like clear the property. Like, let's start fresh here. And let's bless this a little bit. I don't know. Maybe Bennett needs to come over with his holy water. I'm not sure. But I am a little spooked. Just a smidge. To add to that spook, Millie last night. Okay. I have a video coming out tomorrow morning that's actually unbelievable. And as the day has gone on today, like more and more has revealed itself. So Millie would not come home last night. She was adamant that she stay at Miss Pat's house. And I was frustrated. Like I'm out until 11 o'clock at night trying to call her, coax her. I've messaged Miss Pat and Mr. David at like 8:30 and was apologizing that she's still sleeping on their sidewalk. And like, I can't get her to come home. So I tell myself like, I'm going to give it one more hour and see what happens. And hopefully she'll come home to actually eat something and whatever. It's like 11:30 at this point in time. And I walk outside. All the other dogs are in the house with me. And I walk outside and I hear Millie barking like crazy. And my heart sinks because all I could think about is oh my God, somehow she ended up on the new pond side of the pasture, and she's stuck because of the way she was barking. And I walk out there with a flashlight, and she's not over there. She's on the horse side of the pasture, but towards the front, like where the granite rock, the new spillway is, basically. So I go in the pasture and walk up to her, and she is like being super weird, like she wants me to know that she's there, but she will not follow me back, and I don't know why. I'm getting frustrated. It's late. I'm done my final rounds of checks on everybody. I've, feeding the round of hay, like all of this. And Millie is adamant that she will not leave. She finally follows me up to the shop. And as I get up there and I'm ready to feed her, she like pulls on my jacket. Like she's trying to get me to go with her. And I'm like, this is really weird. Like, why, like I at this point in time believe that I'm delirious, and like she's trying to tell me that like Timmy's in the well. And I'm like, I just don't know what to. I'm frustrated with her, and I don't know what to do with her. I don't know why she won't come inside. It's going to be 26 degrees out. I don't like the idea of her staying outside, even though it's cold and she loves the cold still. So she leaves and runs over to Miss Pat and Mr. David's fence line, where that's the path that they take all the time to go up to the chickens. She goes over there and she barks profusely. Like she is adamant. And I'm like, okay, and I'm shining the light on her so I can see her. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll walk over there and see what she has, because she and Fiona will bark, but not like attack things. They'll chase things, but they won't like do anything about it unless it's attacking them. Now, this point in time, I start my video because it's too weird. It's so long and so persistent that something is really weird going on. So I get over there, and Millie she does it in front of me, and she's doing this circle thing, and she literally takes off and has the most deep bark that I've never heard out of her. And she is chasing something at this point in time. Well, it's dark. I don't know if you've been to the corner of our pasture in around midnight or not, but there's zero light besides what I brought in my flashlight. And if I'm not pointing it somewhere, I can't see anything. And I'm not hearing anything move, except for I'm hearing Millie run and bark. And Millie is now making circles and coming back around. And I'm terrified of what it is that she's chasing, because, it sounds pretty intense. So I make the decision at that point in time that it's gone on long enough. And there's a video of this, like, to prove everything I'm saying. It's gone on long enough where I'm like, maybe I should go get Fiona and let Fiona help her. Maybe this is something like bigger than her. So I did. I went and got Fiona, and Fiona was already in the house, standing at the door, barking like she was ready to go when I got back in here. Now, I'll be honest with you. I got nervous, and I was like, I can go back out there with my piece. We'll call it a piece, okay? I could go back out there with my piece, but it's so dark that I am nervous, and that I don't know that I would feel comfortable carrying that out there and being like, what if I trip? What if the horses spook me? What if I hurt something? So I stayed at the shop at that point in time. And about 30 minutes later, it all stopped, and they came home, and they were done. I went to bed. I was just thrilled that it was, whatever it was over. And I didn't think too much more about it because it was over. This morning when I woke up, here's Millie again, laying down by the rocks, refusing to come to me, will not, like she is so on guard that she will not move. She doesn't want a snack. She is, as I go up, she's actually spooked. Fiona is laying near the generator, which is like her guard spot that she likes to lay. And she's acting weird. I get up to Millie, and Millie is limping from her front paw. I roll her over. I check her out. I can't find anything on her. And I just think that this is the weirdest moment. So I text Miss Pat because, number one, obviously something was on their property because that's where all the chasing was happening. And I'm like, you should probably check out your chickens and your cameras, check what's going on. And so Miss Pat gets up. I end up meeting her at the fence, and she goes, all my chickens are okay. She goes, we heard them barking last night. I just never thought, I just didn't think that it was anything different. And she goes, but we also went to bed, and she goes, Mr. David sleeps with a fan on and I can't hear anything. So I don't think that they heard the late night barking like I will show you in tomorrow's video. So Miss Pat then is out and about today doing her normal yard work and other things, and she sends me pictures of footprints. Okay, I'm going to show you some of this. Okay, even you have to watch tomorrow's video, even though I'm telling you all the things about the video. I was too excited for this to pass, right? Hold on a second here. So Miss Pat sends me a picture of footprints. That's not a dog footprint. That is a large cat. Not a kitty cat, a large cat. And here's where Millie and Fiona's footprint is, and here's where whatever they were chasing is. So now, I told Lester about it, of course, because I was freaking out about it. All I keep thinking about is, like, how weird was it that she was concerned about the front of our pasture, not the river part? Because I would probably understand a little bit more about the river part, and whether it be bobcat or cougar or whatever it is, I would understand it from back there. But the front part feels very weird because there's houses along, like, I get it. We're out in the middle of nowhere. It can come from anywhere. It's just a little bit weird to me of where it came from and what they did. So tonight, Mr. David and Miss Pat put up trail cameras where we saw the footprints. I have a light up shining down that path, and then Miss Pat and Mr. David also have that. And then Mr. David says, he goes, I'll just go on a hunt with them tonight if the same thing happens. So everybody's on like super red alert. And thank God for Millie's persistence last night, because I was very frustrated with her about not coming in. Like, I thought I like in my heart, I'm getting upset thinking like, Sadie left us and now Millie wants to leave us, like all these things, when in reality, Millie's taking her job the most serious that she's ever taken. And the reason that Miss Pat's chickens are probably still alive is probably because of Millie. So it was just a very different ordeal. And Millie is fine. So by this afternoon, her limp was gone. Maybe she was just really worn out from whatever chase had happened. But we do have some really weird circumstances happening here. And I still don't know if it actually came across our yard or not. Like, I don't fully understand the path or the pattern. I just know that Millie wants to lay directly out by the dam. And that is like her perching place right now. So we'll see what happens tonight. But you still have to watch tomorrow's video because it is wild to think through. Yeah. Okay, so I have 2 other things on my list. I've been talking a long dang time. I didn't mean to talk this long. All right, so Roman and Rita. I have not gotten to spend any time there this week with them. I did this weekend, of course, but because of the cold weather, Lester and I are divide and conquer, and he chose jail north, and I prefer south. I just prefer it. Okay. So Roman and Rita are going into the red barn every night, and there's a security camera that we have in there that allows me to take a glance and be able to see them and capture a few second clips here or there. And I have seen some of the neatest moments happen in there, and Lester did too. Lester had one that he showed me this morning that like made my whole heart just melt like crazy. I will not tell you about that one. But what I did capture was Roman laying down which is big. So horses don't lay down unless they feel safe enough to do so. So the fact that Roman laid down and allowed Rita to be on guard was pretty dang amazing. Now, I don't know how long that actually lasted. And even in the tiny little video clip, Rita's still like poking a little fun at him. But pretty amazing that he was able to let his guard down enough to be able to rest like that. That's a really amazing. Big horses like that don't do that very often because it takes a lot for them to get back up. And then the other part is seeing Rita relax so much in Robin's presence and watching him watch over her is like exactly what I imagined that their relationship would be. I just never thought that it would get to the point that he allowed her to be the one to also be on guard. And watching them is just like, I could do it for hours. I wish that I had the same camera capabilities here to be able to see, to see what the horses and donkeys are doing, to see what the littles are doing, to be able to just look at any moment. Like, I am envious of the JL North cell reception to be able to have that capability out there, because we do not have that here and never will. Unless by some grace of God, a new cell tower comes up, which probably isn't going to happen. I won't be able to have that same, really neat blessing here. But nonetheless, it is really fun to watch with Roman and Rita because they're like the odd couple. Rita is like this spunky little, no worries, just carefree go-getter. And Roman is like the old man trying to catch up. And he's doing a really dang good job of catching up as well. Lester sent me a video today of them running. And it was so special to watch, like to see their spirits and their, watching them both have found peace and happiness in their space and trust in each other and trust in, us is like so dang powerful, y'all. So dang powerful. So, I know that there's subtle little things, but if you watch any of that, like, it's pretty amazing. And I wish that I could spend more time there. Sharon says, Jamie, do you leave the horse blankets on all day? No, I did not. So it got up to 45 today, and I like them to be able to get some sun on their skin, to get some dirt on their fur. And we have a nice tree barrier here that provides a wind block. So, if it gets above freezing, I take their blankets off and then put them back on, right after dinner time, knowing that it's going to drop as soon as the sun goes down. So, it works out really well here. And they like that routine as well. Plus, I think that, every horse owner is different. We left Rita's on yesterday. I will tell you, I'm pretty nervous about how Thursday is going to go. So Thursday's high here is 35. And we are expecting 2.5 inches of rain in that 24-hour period. Blankets and rain don't mix, but that cold of temperatures, blankets in our world is necessary. And wet fur and blankets don't mix. So I'm feeling a bit like torn on what to do. Now, all of our blankets here are waterproof, which is great, but if they have any like gappage around, like any, gap from when they bend or when they eat, that type of thing, water can get down here. And I do not want them to be, I don't want them to be, frozen, literally frozen. So I'm torn on what to do with that day. The nighttime is supposed to be the worst, which sucks so bad. We're supposed to get like 2 inches of rain that night, and it gets dark at 5 o'clock. So the thought, like, if I put them in the barn and keep them in the barn, they get really anxious, like really, really anxious. And the one that gets the most anxious is Storm. But if I let Storm out, then everybody else feels like they should be out too. So I am really torn on what to do. I probably will stall them and will hang out with him, which also, 33 and rain. And 33 is like the maybe, you know. It keeps going back and forth between we're going to get snow, sleet, and freezing rain. And all of that just sucks. Just sucks. So I'm going to do my best to stall them, but I can't stall them for 24 hours. That's the other hard part. I I may end up on an air mattress or a couple of bales of hay out there in my own stall, but we'll see. I do have a blanket for Roman. Roman and Rita will stay in their red barn that whole day. Their barn is much bigger in the fact of like their indoor space. They can walk around and do whatever that they want to, and be out of the weather. So they'll be good to go on that day. It is the fact that I have 5 donkeys and 4 horses over here, and putting them in stalls to stand still for that amount of time is going to be challenging. My hope is that if it rains in the morning, that we get a break, in the afternoon, can feed up out there, let them do it. And then if I could just put them in overnight, we would be okay. Either way, it's going to be cold, like nasty cold, and potentially very unsafe. So there'll be no driving for Lester or I on those days. The one thing I will say is that, especially Ivy, Margaret says, you're right. Ivy has to stay in. And I have some blankets that are called, they're moisture wicking. They almost feel like fleece. And they're meant to be like stable blankets, meaning that they're not waterproof or anything like that, but they can absorb the moisture. So a lot of people will put that on while they're in the stall and use that to absorb the moisture off of them. Take that off, and then once they're dry, we'll put on their regular winter coats. So we'll see what happens. It would be great if the weather people were wrong. Sadly, they haven't been wrong this week yet. I know that a lot of people are having nasty, horrible weather. And Xander and Kendra have both been off work. The schools have not opened up there. I think they'll probably open tomorrow. They finally got some roads be able to be clear, but I think that parts of the U.S. are actually going to be getting their second winter storm the same time we are, right? Like on Thursday, Friday. I know that it's not melting anywhere in the U.S. or in the middle of the country as well. Like it's staying because the weather is so horrible. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, because my time is almost over here. If you have not seen the Denman Homestead's video today of Connor acting like his sister Alora on Facebook, you are missing out. I have watched that video roughly 20 times, laughing hysterically, because first of all, it is so Connor, so creative and hilarious. And he also, he does this dance in there, which he literally made up on the fly and was good. Like, it was really good. And every bit of it is satirical and just so hilarious. Connor is probably one of the funniest kids I've ever met. He's definitely the funniest kid on Morrow Hill. But his video was outstanding. So if you haven't had time, you should go check that out. It's only like a minute and a half long. You will thank me later because it was outstanding. So that Timeout Tuesday hour flew by so very fast. I will answer a couple of questions. I tried to hit everything that I think that you would normally ask, but if I miss something, I'm happy to answer that. Definitely check out the Denman Homestead. Lisa Lee says, I would like to check out Alora's reactions. Alora was giggling in the background. That's what made the video 10 times more funny. How's Roman feeling? I think Roman's feeling great. If you haven't watched any of Lester's videos, you can, and you will see that Roman's running around and is Roman's doing really good. Donkey Dan has been in the barn quite a bit. I know that sounds crazy. Now, Donkey Dan was in the barn so many times this week, except for when it was raining. When it was raining, he was out under a tree. I'm like, I just saw him like an hour before in the barn. Dinky Daryl owns the barns. Dinky Daryl is like in every stall, climbing in and out, and just like Dinky Daryl goes anywhere that Dinky Daryl wants to go, and Dan is going where Dinky Daryl goes. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, maybe it is PTSD with rain. Diane says, what about your fish? My fish's name is Bruce. He's over here on the counter. My water's a little cloudy. I don't like that my water is cloudy already. So I think I'm going to upgrade his tank to be a little bit bigger, and one with a heater and a better filter. It's cute and all, but I don't like how cloudy the water is already in 2 weeks. Mr. Hank is up on top of here. I'll show you. Mr. Hank is right there. He left me alone tonight. I think he's mad at me. Last night in the cold, I had Mabel, Eclipse, and Mr. Hank all in bed with me. Not on purpose. They just all ended up there. They're probably cold. And I guess he's mad about that. He wasn't the only one last night. Ernie's doing really good, y'all. Ernie is, I don't want to say made a miraculous recovery, but Ernie has done the slow and steady recovery. And while he's not out there pronking, he is right there eating breakfast and dinner with them. He hangs out with like he has, his personality is all there. Like every bit of Ernie is doing the best that I think that he can. I get nervous about any of the animals with cold weather changes, that type of thing, but alpacas love this weather. Like they think that this is the greatest thing ever. A real life plant will help my fish. Okay. I'm trying to read here. Where is Aries? Aries and White Kitty are like best friends, and Stranger. And I haven't seen Stranger in a while. Aries was here. It's been a couple days since I've seen Aries. But the weird part about Aries is like I'll see him on the edge of the fence line. They love the abandoned whatever the heck that is behind us. All the cats do. There must be just a haven of things for them back there, because even that's where Mr. Hank will go to. If I let him outside, he will go back there. Now he'll come back when I call him, but that's where Aries is. Miss Linda, yes, it is a betta fish. That is what I got in the white elephant gift at Morrow Christmas. Yeah, I got a fish. His name is Bruce. I'm still reading. I have not been back to the doctor yet, Tracy. My appointment is in February. So more to come on that. I think that's about it, y'all. I will get some plants from my betta tank, and I will upgrade. I will. I'll get his water clean, and I'll show them all to you. I love you all so much. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Tuesday. Please watch the video tomorrow of Millie. We're really proud of her, and I'm hoping that tonight is not a part 2. I'm hoping that they scared off whatever the heck it really was. And I'm hoping that if Miss Pat's and Mr. David's camera is lined up right, that if there is anything that they are able to capture some of those things, be able to see what's going on. But don't forget about your good thing jar, and we will catch up on the next video, I promise. I have another Row Life kit, and that we'll probably do one day this week or one evening this week as well. Stay warm, y'all, and stay safe. Try to stay well. Lester and I are both on the mend of whatever funk that we've gotten, And we're really hoping to be better by the weekend, fully better by the weekend. I love you all so very much. Thanks for joining Timeout Tuesday. Good night.